Hello guys, I hope you all are doing well. In this video I will briefly tell you about the sewage treatment processes and its disposal. So these are basically the two chapters which are broadly cover the main theme of our subject. So I will tell you the table of the contents. This briefly introduction of the sewage and sewers, and then we have all the processes through which the water again purifies and it is capable of again in the form we have the effluent in a form of reuse. Then the sewage, you all know we have different types: domestic, industrial and storm. These are the pictorial views in which you can see the different types of effluent or the wastewater which are discharging into the main streams and polluted the different inhabitants in the river, and also pollute the different also polluting the water, and which will cause a different types of diseases and many other problems for us. These are the types of the sewer systems. Similarly, this is another sewer at the side of a road. Sewage treatment, basically it is a process of removing contaminants from the municipal wastewater. So it consists of a number of processes, from preliminary to the primary, then secondary, advanced disinfection, and then we have the tertiary, and after tertiary we will be able to again reuse the effluent. So what are the main objectives of this lecture? Is to prevent pollution of receiving water, to prevent offensive odor in the water, to prevent destruction aquatic life, or if the sewage has to dispose of on land, the soil will become sewage sick after some time and cannot take any more sewage. So we have to learn all the processes that whenever water is after getting polluted, then how we have to again convert it in a form that we again can reuse for our different purposes, and it can further not pollute our aquatic life, our inhabitants and other major problems. So this is the sewage treatment types. These are the types of the sewage treatments in which whenever the water comes into the treatment plant, the major coarse debris are screened out here. We will see the screening grid chamber. This is a screening grid chamber, and then we have the small particle, they will settle down here. Then the primary clarification, the solid sludge. These are the different processes through which this the polluted water passes through, and the process of the aeration and the clarification. This is the process, the activated sludge. If it is not clear, then it go again to this way, and then again it will complete its cycle, and as soon as it reaches here, there is a disinfection process. We added the chlorine, and then we have the effluent, and then the tertiary process, and finally the water will be in a form that we will be able to again reuse it. So we will discuss in detail when we have the lectures from the 1st June onward. So the primary treatment, the water waste contains floating suspended solids such as rags. Rags mean piece of clothes, wood, metal, plastic, etc. These suspended impurities have to be removed as they interfere with the treatment processes or mechanical equipment. So obviously, if we do not stop these or do not filter these particles, these large particles into here, they will obviously, some particle obviously move with the water, and they will will be harmful for our equipments, for our mechanical equipments of our plant. So in the primary treatment, we remove the suspended coarse suspended and the floating matters, remove grit and sand, broken glass, remove oil. This is the screening and the silt and grit removal, oil and grease removal processes. This is basically a screening or grit chamber in which the water reached here. There is a mesh, you can say a rebars, which block the large size particles, and only the water, the polluted water, move from over there. This is basically the rebar from where the water can move easily. I have small videos as well in the lecture. You can watch these small videos as well, which will also you can easily comprehend that what I am trying to understand you. The skimming tank. In the skimming tank, top layer of oil, fat or grease is removed by the disc, strip and the other type of oil. So the main purpose of the skimming tank is that in the skimming tank, top layer of oil, fat and grease is removed by the disc and strip or any other type of skimmer. This is a small video. You will watch this and you can easily understand that what the oil skimming process is. This is how you can see the oil or the grease removed from the water. So this is the purpose of the skimming tank. And the primary treatment, it removes material that will either float or readily settle out by the gravity. Primary sedimentation tanks, secondary sedimentation tanks, or the different processes involved. This is basically a sedimentation tank in which it separates out from the polluted water. And then we have as well, this is the process of the sedimentation. Then we have the process of the flocculation is treated here, and then we have the coagulation. So these are the different processes in which the large size particles are removed here. Then we have the different semi-solid particles are converted into the liquid, and then we have a process in which so different processes are involved in the primary treatment. Then we have a coagulation and the flocculation. Coagulation aim is the chemical is added into the particles. It will just trap the impurities, and the precipitation trap will settle to the bottom, and then this is basically the chemical process which involved. So I will just quickly go toward the slides. So in detail we will discuss when we have the lecture onwards. So the coagulation over plain sedimentation, these are the advantages and these are the disadvantages. Secondary treatment is started here. It is a treatment process of the wastewater or the sewage to achieve a certain degree of effluent quality. Activated sludge process or the filtration. We have the sludge and effluent. The semi-solid, that this is the definition of the sludge and effluent. The semi-solid that settles down at the bottom after the treatment is called sludge, and effluent is liquid to be discharged after the semi-solid that settles down at the bottom after the treatment is called sludge. When the semi-solid settles down, this process is known as the sludge, and the water and the remaining liquid discharge after this process is known as effluent. Although it is still polluted, but from the effluent the semi-solids are settled down. We have separated out the semi-solid from the liquid. So this is the secondary process, the aeration tank, and further these diagrams can explain you. So it converts the remaining organic matter into the stable form by putting aerobic and anaerobic bacteria into action. And disinfection, how you kill the bacteria in the remain of the sewage. And then we have the tertiary treatment. The tertiary treatment is a final cleaning process. It improves the wastewater quality before it is reused, recycled, or discharged to the environment. This treatment removes remaining inorganic compounds and substances such as nitrogen or phosphorus. This is the tertiary process involved. The final and the advanced treatment, the organic load after the secondary treatment for the remove nutrient from the sewage containing both nitrogen and phosphorus through which it moves. This is another small video which will explain. Signal reach to the receiver. Now it gets activated. So we will watch this video in our coming lectures. So I'll move forward quickly to just wrap up this lecture. So sedimentation tank, separation of the suspended solid from the suspension by the force of gravity. The process of sedimentation is designed to remove the large particles of contamination from wastewater. So these are the processes involved in the sedimentation tank. It can be of different shapes, rectangular, circular, and three different types of the tanks. Although the purpose is the same. This is the rectangular tank. We have the advantages. Then we have a circular tank. This is the different types of the circular tanks as well. Then we have a spiral flow in this, and the hopper bottom tanks in this one. And this is another small video you can see. So we'll watch and explain you in the incoming lectures. So the activated sludge is the sludge particle reduced in the wastewater by the growth of the organism in aeration tank. The term activated comes from the fact that the particles teem with bacteria, fungi, and protozoa, and is different from primary sludge in the sense that the sludge particles contain many living organisms that can feed on the incoming wastewater. So activated sludge is process. This we'll discuss in detail. This is the activation small video of activated sludge treatment.
Secondary treatments. Secondary treatment is the heart of the wastewater treatment process. Whereas the previous steps of treatment consisted in removing the suspended solids by settlement, this step of treatment consists in removing the major part of dissolved pollution, namely BOD5 and ammonia. During the aeration phase, specific bacteria eat the dissolved organic matter and transform it into suspended solids. Other specific bacteria oxidize the ammonia into nitrates, then nitrates. During the non-aeration phase, called also anoxic phase, other type of bacteria convert the nitrates into nitrogen gas, which is released into the atmosphere. To ensure a good balance between food and bacteria, the bacteria settled in the clarifiers are continuously returned at the inlet of the tank. They are called return-activated sludge. The upstream part of the activated sludge tank is covered so that odorous air is trapped and extracted towards odor treatment units.
I hope you can comprehend the concept of this activated sludge treatment. These are the advantages. This is a trickling filter. The operating principle of the trickling filter is as pre-treatment or the settled wastewater is allowed to flow through a filtering bed where the bacteria culture called biofilm has been adhered and developed. The wastewater thus accumulated on the filter material and contacts with the biomass, achieving pollution degradation. The suspended and the colloidal material present in the wastewater get grouped and are absorbed by the film. This is a detailed figure. The process is started from here and it move on here and explaining all these processes. We will have a video related to this which will further explain you that how this process initiated and ends. The trickling filter, it consists of a bed of crushed stones, rock, slag, plastic filter media, and polyurethane foam, and sand, gravel, or a variety of plastic and other synthetic materials or pebbles covered with slime, which consist of aerobic bacteria, algae, fungi, and protozoa, that is microorganism. The sewage is degraded by the aerobic bacteria when it passes through the bed media and is collected at the bottom of the filter. It helps in better removal of the organic matter and also keep the filter moist when the flow rate is slow. So these are the advantages, difference between the activated sludge and the trickling filter. You can just read it here. Rotating biological contactors. RBC is a fixed film aerobic biological wastewater treatment system. The primary function of this bioreactor is the reduction of the organic matters. These are its application. This is its advantages, disadvantages. Aerobic system is the on-site sewage treatment system that use forced air to treat wastewater in the surface application or drip irrigation to disperse the treated. The components of the aerobic, these are these components through which we further clean our water. Component of the aerobic system, we have the aeration chambers component, disinfection chamber, pump tanks, its advantages and the risk. So oxidation ponds is also known as lagoons or stabilization ponds, are large shallow ponds designed to treat wastewater through the interaction of the sunlight, bacteria and algae. So algae grow usually energy from the sun, and the carbon dioxide and inorganic compound are released by the bacteria in water. During the process of photosynthesis, the algae release oxygen needed by the aerobic bacteria. Mechanical aerators are sometimes installed to supply yet more oxygen, thereby reducing the required size of the ponds. So this is the process involved in the oxidation ponds. What is self-purification of streams? It is a process in which streams itself purify the water after a certain time. So when the wastewater is discharged into the river or stream, the bio-oxygen demand increases initially and dissolved oxygen level starts falling. So as the river water travel further, BOD gradually, then it again decreases, and then the dissolved oxygen increases and reaches its saturation level. Thus river gets purified on its own. This phenomena is known as self-purification of stream. So we have a figure here in which this is a clean zone in which you can see a habitants in a very well conditions. So this is a clean zone in which the bio-oxygen demand is low and the dissolved oxygen is maximum. So then this is some kind of waste which is discharged into the water, into the stream, and then this is the decomposition zone in which the biological oxygen demands now starts increasing and reach at maximum, and the dissolved oxygen is getting low, and after some time that it moves, it's dissolved into the water, the oxygen, dissolved oxygen is automatically starts, then we have septic zone, then we have the recovery zone. From here the dissolved oxygen starts increasing and the BOD starts decreasing again. So this again after certain length or certain time there is again a clean zone. So this process is known as a self-purification of streams. So these are explained in these different zone of degradation, active decomposition, zone of recovery, clean water, and these are the action involved in self-purification of stream: dilution, in which the activated organic concentration of the organic matter is reduced and the potential nuisance of the sewage is also reduced. So then we have a sedimentation, oxidation, reduction in temperature, and the sunlight processes are explained here. We have the sludge handling processes: primary operation, thickening, stabilization, dewatering, heat, drying, and incineration. So this is the primary operation. These produces include grinding, screening, degrading, bending, blending, and this is the process of thickening, explained one by one in the video as well. You can see it here. And we have the digesting process, dewatering, and you can see the waste which just separated from the from the polluted water. So heat drying, this is the process. Sludge storage area: treated sludge is temporarily stored in the sludge hopper or yard before the disposal. Treated sludge is transported for disposal. Incineration basically the hospital waste or other waste which are burned in the incineration plant. It is a bit expensive plant which is just constructed to dump the such kind of hazardous material into this incineration plant. Incineration of waste material converted the waste into ash, flue, gas and heat, and we just dissolve all the hazardous materials. So this is another type, multiple hearth incinerator, and fluidized bed incineration. We have advantages, energy recovery potential, and you can read out here. Methods of disposal. So we have landfill, agriculture, other methods as well. So this is a landfill. Some landfills are also used for the waste management purposes, such as the temporary storage, consolidation and the transfer or processing of waste material, sorting, treatment or recycling. For the agricultural use, the purpose of using sludge is to utilize organic substance for soil improvement, and all types of sludge can be separated on farmland if they fulfill the quality requirements, heavy metal pathogens or pre-treatments. Advantages, these are the disadvantages. Other methods: ocean disposal, distribution and marketing, surface disposal. Then we have lastly the effluent reuse. Reclaim or recycle water, also called wastewater reuse or water reclamation, is the process of the converting wastewater into water that can be reused for other purposes. The reuse may include irrigation of gardens, irrigation of agriculture fields. So after all the processes which we have gone through, from primary to secondary to the tertiary, now we are able that the water is in the form of reuse for the toilet flushing. Businesses, industry could even be treated to reach drinking water standards. This is the water reuse in Alexandria. The reclaiming water of the reuse application instead of using fresh water supplies can be a water saving measures. These are the benefits. So thank you so much for